Hi everyone,
I'm Tracy
and I'm Raylee,
and welcome back to our studios.
Today in this video I am going to be teaching my mum how to paint an oil painting.
So this video is for people who are complete beginners at painting, like myself.
I am in my first year of A-levels and I took art for GCSE and I'm also taking it for A-level. And at the moment, I'm doing a lot of oil painting. At GCSE level, I did a lot of acrylic painting and I recently started doing loads of oil paintings and I love them.
Obviously I've painted with acrylics, I've done a tiny bit of watercolour, but I've never ever picked up a brush and painted with oils. So I've been inspired by Jamie and also Raylee, so today I'm going to have a go.
Quickly, I do want to say I am not a professional at oil painting. I just really enjoy it and I've done quite a lot of it. That being said, if any of you have any improvements for me or critiques or things that would help me or make it better, then feel free to leave them because I can always improve and I want to get my A-level grade up. So this video is a follow along, paint with us sort of video if you want to get an easel, get your paints out, and you can do this real time with us. So when I started my GCSEs, I really started using paints and I used acrylic paint and I was doing still life for GCSE. And throughout that time, my inspiration was always oil paintings. So I was painting images in acrylic and the images that I was painting were oil paintings. That's what I wanted to be painting. So when I finally actually started painting in oils, it was really, really exciting because suddenly all the things I'd been inspired by, I now had full freedom to create.
Well, I've never used oils. For me, oils was something which I'd always kind of keep away from because I always assumed it was hard.
It can be messy.
What people seem to say is that it's actually more forgiving.
I would agree with that. I think layering is a bit different with oils. If you've left it for a day to sort of, it won't dry, but dry, then it's really easy to layer a colour without emerging. In short, acrylics tend to be cheaper, easier to use, and they don't create as much mess. Oils can be messier, they can be harder to use, but the end result is more vibrant, it lasts longer, and I find it more satisfying to look at as an image. It's more painty, if that makes sense. If you're going to do an oil painting, the things that you will need are, you'll need paintbrushes. When I'm painting, I tend to I like the square brushes because I like the edges you can get with them. You'll want bigger brushes. Being able to confidently just put a mark down or sketch out areas is really important in painting. So you want bigger brushes, smaller brushes, pinpoint brushes are quite good, but you want a selection of sizes. You'll also need something to mix paint on. It seems very popular for people to use pieces of plastic or glass or acrylic. Oh, that made a horrible noise.
It did, yeah. Acrylic,
glass, and just clear stuff seems to be really popular, but it's not exclusive to that. You can use whatever. In place of water, because oils will not break down in water, you will need something called turpentine. I think there are a lot of substitutes you can use to thin down oil paints because they are quite thick. Linseed oil is something that you will want. This one's really good. Then, obviously, you need oil paints. This is the set we got. I would recommend, maybe if you want to do this a lot, getting a big thing of white paint because you need a lot of white. Right, we just turned the camera off and Dad behind the camera made a point. This isn't turpentine, this is white spirit. This is how much of a novice Mum is at this.
I thought it was the same thing.
I'm not gonna lie, I think white spirit might work. I've always read you use turpentine. This is a turpentine substitute, which is cheaper and works the same. That would break down oil, so it probably would work. You'll need something to paint on. We have canvases. You can get big canvases and you can get small canvases. You can make canvases or you can use paper. So we've got everything set up to start painting and we've put our apple in between us. Are we okay with the positioning of it?
Yeah,
I'm good with my
Are you
angle.
okay? Yeah, can I turn it around a little bit so I can see the thing like that?
We've agreed on the positioning of the apple. We get opposite views. So one of, I think, the important things about learning to paint is learning from other people but not copying their image.
Okay.
You need to learn to not draw from memory or paint from memory or paint what you think it looks like or paint someone else's, but actually apply your understanding of the object that you see in front of you onto the canvas. It's a habit that you have to unlearn. That you have to stop looking at apples as apples, and you have to stop looking at people's faces as people's faces. Because if you look at an apple as an apple, or a face as a face, or an eye as an eye, then you subconsciously paint an eye. You paint your memory and understanding of an eye, and you don't truly paint what's in front of you. You apply what you know into your painting. Whereas if you look at that as a collection of tone and colour and as an image and see it as tone and colour and shape, then you end up painting something more accurate, which is funny because you would have thought the more you know about something, the closer you get to the reality bit. The apple is red, so you're just going to want some red on your thing. Oh, okay. Load your brush up a bit and mix it into the red. You want a watered down for the beginning part, I think. Now, make a big confident circle wherever you want your apple.
So a circle.
Look.
I'm really frightened.
How big you want it?
Okay. We haven't done yours very big.
Yeah, I was thinking, do I want to paint mine bigger?
I'm going to do mine bigger than yours. This looks like a tomato. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Now clean your brush.
Okay.
This is what I like to call the marking out stage. This is it done.
That's it.
That's how you start out. Step 2. So step 1 was basically just general composition. It was really, really brief. Step 2 is actually marking out the shape of the apple in your general colour. So you could use a darker tone of this colour for this point. Honestly, it won't make that much of a difference. If it will help you see like this version of it, then probably use a darker tone.
So I'm looking at the form now.
Yeah, if it helps, maybe draw a
centre line.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I draw a centre line through it.
Generally that doesn't really help me,
Doesn't it? So obviously my first marking out was kind of a circle, but obviously the apple isn't a circle.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna add a bit of brown so I can distinguish between like these lines and the other ones. I don't know if you want to do the same.
Yeah.
I have pretty much completely deviated from my initial shape. It's definitely not a circle. It's slanted, it's messy.
Mine looks like a cherry.
It's probably because it's circular. I am going to mix up a brown. We don't have much white, so I'll use a bit of grey. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, they're both massive. Oh, yours is nice.
It looks like a cherry.
No?
Does it not?
They're both massively brief.
Yours looks like a cherry too.
The next stage is what I like to call a mid-tone. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to look at the apple and look at the space around the apple and mix up a tone of paint that resembles a medium between the darkest tone on the apple and the lightest. Then you're going to wash it in just as blocks.
So I'm just painting the whole thing in one colour?
Yes.
Right, so just flat colour. I kind of keep looking at it thinking I've got the shape right, and then looking at the apple and thinking it doesn't look anything like it.
See, this is a common thing that people do when they start painting, and gradually the image gets bigger and bigger.
That's
until
what's happening.
It's like wonky on the canvas and you've got something random going on.
Definitely got bigger. I've got a giant apple. I didn't want it to be this big.
Once we start adding, more tone and stuff, you'll realise pretty quickly where it went wrong, and then it'll be very easy to rectify those mistakes because they'll be so obvious at that point. I just mixed this sandy sort of colour, and I'm using that as a background colour because it's quite close to the wooden thing.
So I'm trying to get the same colour as Raylee, although mine's a bit dirtier, but I'm going to go with that one, I think.
Use this point in your painting because we are still marking out to sort of, if you notice anything off, then you can merge these stages.
So we finished that bit, the background, at the request of Raylee.
I like it.
Looking good. It's a big red cherry with a background now, but at least the whole canvas is covered.
This is the fun part. What we've done so far is we've sketched out the image and we've blocked it out and we've made it less daunting to actually start the painting process. Now we're going to start the painting. This is really, really fun. So, some tips that I have for this section. Look at the apple more than you look at your canvas. This may sound weird, but the more that you look at your canvas, the more that you try to colour match on there and make lines straight, the less it's going to look like this image. You need to use this image more than you use that. This, your image, is your main tool, not your canvas.
Okay.
Second thing, use a bigger brush. Dad always says it's easier to make confident lines with a bigger brush. And third thing, don't worry about getting things wrong. I get so much wrong when I'm painting, so many things. Put primary colours on your canvas.
Primary colours. Red,
Blue and yellow, and also brown.
red. How much is a little blob?
Why are you doing it like that?
I don't know. I'm an absolute novice, and I'm kind of putting it on in a very roundabout way. I didn't realise there's actually a way of getting paint. So you go like that, and then you use a thing to get it off, like that.
Push it down.
There you go. Well, I did not know that.
Biggest thing Mum's learned in this video. How to squeeze paint out of a tube. When you're painting and you're mixing colours, it'll end up being like a mess. You'll probably find there's like a gradient from one colour to another mixed up. So don't be afraid to distort your original colours, make new ones, wipe them off. I like to start with a black when I'm doing stuff like this. So I mix a blue and a brown, and then I get a basic dark tone.
So we're going for the darkest tone.
Yep. Wherever you see the dark, you just lay it straight on.
Okay.
As you're going, keep mixing colours that you see on there, keep looking at that, and just keep laying down lines or shapes that you're seeing. For me, I can see there's just sort of a dark patch going like that.
So I've done the dark, so now do I just keep doing all the different colours? And
Yeah, you could do the light now if you wanted, or you could do whatever's next to the dark. It doesn't matter, you just do what you see. Oh, that's really sweet. Is at the moment. Do you want critiques?
Yeah, of course.
Make bigger lines. You need a bigger paintbrush. What you're doing now, to do with confidence, is you're sketching it. That's what you want to avoid. That's what you want to work on not doing. Instead of going like this,
Yeah,
you go.
big
Yeah.
strokes.
If you see, look at the image.
Yeah.
Look at a section of colour which is fairly consistent, and then put it on.
Okay, I'll do
You
that.
can lighten areas of it later, but just block the colour.
Right, okay, bang.
This is colour blocking.
This is colour blocking. There you go. Yes, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It looks better. I was definitely sketching it. Basically, rather than kind of pretending to put it down,
You just put it down.
Put it down.
We have now got to a point that I always get to with my painting, and this is how I know I'm done. I get fed up of looking at it. This is the point for me where anything else I add will actually sabotage it.
We've been in here for 3 hours. I feel exactly the same, and I have to say I've got to the point where I'm actually going to just move this out of the way. Basically every colour is looking the same. You know, like I just can't seem to make any new colours and I'm just in a mess.
At this point in your painting, you often benefit from coming back to it with a fresh mind. You want to come back to it excited about what you're going to paint, sort of, you know, it helps, it really helps. Here's my painting right now. It doesn't look like an apple. It's where I want it to be though. It's where it sort of has to be for me to be excited to come back to it, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this. I've got a lot of ideas for how I want it to look and what I'm going to add next.
I think this looks like a tomato.
It does.
But I do know, Raylee, how good you are painting apples, so I know that is not a reflection at all of what this is going to look like.
This is more a reflection of my train of thought than the actual image. I know what's happening here.
This is mine, and
looks more like an apple than mine.
There's one thing that Raylee's been saying to me all the way through, and probably a tip for people who are doing this from the beginning, like I am. I know I've been sketching with my paintbrush, and I think you can now see that this is kind of a sketched out painting of an apple. Raylee has been looking at the object and very confidently blocking out the individual colours. Mine has very little colours in there. It's all kind of merged into one. In the next video, I'm going to definitely work with a bigger brush, and I will be putting big blocks of colour. Yeah, and just be more confident with it.
I will say, some people paint like that. Some people sketch it when they're painting and they come out with brilliant results. I haven't learned to paint like that. I've learned to paint like this. And I see the reasoning behind this more than that. This makes more sense to me. What I do understand is that the people who tend to paint like that tend to be hyper-realists. They tend to use a very, very tiny brush. That is a different style of painting to me. In theory, you could paint like that.
Maybe I'll try a bigger brush and it'll work, or maybe I'll ditch it and get a smaller one. Who knows? We'll find out in the next video. One thing that I have learnt today, and if you guys are doing this for the first time, you may have come across the same problem, is I found it really hard to mix the colours with acrylics.
I've noticed that before.
So much easier, and I've ended up with just one colour.
Oil paints remain like moist for a really long time, whereas acrylics dry, and if you're used to using acrylics, then you're also probably used to never running out of palette space. With oils, unless you want to waste a lot of paint and rub it off, you're always going to run out of palette space, which is why for me I put really small chunks of colours down to begin with, because then I use them quicker and I just remake the colour when I run out. So for us, this is the point in our paintings where we're going to stop, because this is the point where we don't feel as excited about it. We're going to pick this up again in a couple of days in another video and finish them off. And if you're painting along with us, then tune in later. This is a good break for everyone. So that is the end of this video. We really hope you've enjoyed. You should definitely look out for part 2. We've really enjoyed filming it.
I've really enjoyed it, yeah, and I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to getting cleaned up, but definitely to pick it up again with a kind of clear mind. So that's the end of this video. I've really enjoyed painting in oils with Raylee for the first time.
Yeah, and if you're following this along with us, let us know how your painting's going and what you think you need to add next, how you think it's going to turn out, and what you're painting.
On that note, we will see you soon. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.